We're a little more than a fortnight away from local government elections in Queensland. There's an interesting statistic about these elections. There's a two-sided dilemma in relation to politicians, and Graham and I have talked about this often. You've got people like McCormack who give politicians and political leadership, I think, a bad name because they don't deliver. Yet they won't accept that they're not up to the task. A good leader gathers about him good people. And there are good people in the National Party in Canberra. Barnaby Joyce is the best retail politician in the country. Matt Canavan is amongst the smartest the National Party has ever had. McCormack doesn't want them. They're a threat. And this dissuades many people from entering politics. They argue that if merit isn't the criterion, being able and good, being someone of ideas, energy and persuasive powers, these qualities are not identified or rewarded. So good people say, well, what the hell? Hence, in these local government elections in Queensland, we have a metaphor of the problem. The mayors of nearly 1 in 5 of Queensland's 77 local councils will be elected unopposed for the next 4 years. Now, the role of a politician for many is not prized. On the other hand, every inference that can be drawn seems to want people to believe that wink, wink, nod, nod, politicians are crook. So there are all sorts of integrity laws discouraging good people from getting involved. And a politician these days has to not only declare when he made a quid, where he made a quid, where he lost a quid, who helped him get a quid, who you slept with, why your marriage failed, how many women do you have in tow, as if it was fertility rather than ability that we're seeking. So 1 in 5 of the current mayors will be elected unopposed. 15 mayoral candidates will face no contest. And consider this, compared with previous elections, nearly twice the number of existing councillors are not standing. I think we've reached the point where we cultivate the presumption that everyone is a dud or a crook, so who wants to submit to that nonsense? So-called reforms of government are a disincentive for many who want to serve. And then you've got people like McCormack, in my view, transparently not up to the task. And people think, well, look, I don't want to be identified with that kind of mediocre stuff. We don't want people in government who are risk-averse. We've got a crisis in government at all levels, when good people are no longer interested. I was at the Gold Coast at the weekend. I had to do a gig. It's a magnificent, modern and thriving city. The Mayor, Tom Tate, is being opposed. He encourages that. And indeed, on 1 or 2 of his big-ticket commitments, he simply says, listen, if you don't want them, don't vote for me. This bloke's a leader and a doer. How do we know? Well, he's made a success of his own life. You don't want someone telling you how to run a city if you could never make a quid yourself. Tom Tate presides over a $1.7 billion budget. His council paid for the Commonwealth Games without a levy on ratepayers. He won't win the local public speaking competition, nor will he be the best dressed on the ground on Melbourne Cup Day. But he'll be out there having a punt, and like the people he represents, winning some and losing some. But the success of the Gold Coast today owes much to this bloke. He's joining us from the Gold Coast. Mayor Tom Tate, good evening. Thank you for your time. You've got a tie on.
Yes, Alan. I thought you'd have one, so I didn't want to be underdone.
Now, tell us, how do you do it? I mean, it's a tremendous thing. Firstly, you know, the Commonwealth Games, that's a big story. You didn't raise ratepayers' money. You saved on the budget.
Yeah, we cut out a lot of middle ground management and we collapsed 8 departments down to 5. So, and the other thing I said to all the boys and girls there, I said, look, forget about gold-plated solution. You know, like they wanted to build 5-metre footpath when 3.5 metres would do, where 2 prams would pass. That's good. So that's the sort of things we want to deliver frontline service at the price we can afford.
So you've been mayor since 2012, and that was at a time when the economy was struggling post-global financial crisis. I mean, I follow what you've done because I own property on the Gold Coast, and I think what you've done is amazing. There were 2 cranes in the sky, I think, when you took over. I mean, how many are there now? You run out of cranes?
Yeah, we're on the average over 30. The 2 cranes in the sky were both at Griffiths University. There was no other. And what we did was that I said, if anyone's got a shovel-ready project, we won't charge any infrastructure charge for the next 6 months. So all the project was getting ready to go.
So, yeah, that's true.
But the good thing is we're getting more rates now because they've built more
That's
units.
Exactly it. Because they've built more, he's getting more.
The long-term investment works.
Unbelievable. Just tell our viewers, Tom Tate, Mayor of the Gold Coast, about the construction kickstart program.
Yeah, well, when you get ready with the project there, 100% discount for 6 months, and if you can't get it in time, we give you another 50% half-price discount for the next 6 months. But I had a bit of complaint there. It rained for a month in the first 6 months, and everyone said, look, my place is shovel ready, but I can't get out there and get the backhoe into it. So I extended for another month, and now the momentum has picked up, and the good thing is that part of our economy is going along nicely. It was a hand up, not a handout.
That's it. See, now, he talks like, you know, a bloke who's out there getting his hands dirty, but there's another side to the coin. Tell us then about your arts revolution.
That is something I'm so proud of. What it is we are building a culture precinct. It's called Home of the Arts. It's a 10-year program. We've done our amphitheatre, which looks magnificent. The Green Breach looked like a piece of art itself. Our gallery will be completed in October, and we will be open around April next year. And I can't let the cat out of the bag, but some of the exhibition is going to be world-class. So everyone down south should come up and enjoy some of the Gold Coast culture.
It's magnificent, it really is. Now, just go back to the issue of debt, because when you came into office, I think the debt was about $866 million. Now, you could have retired debt by jacking up rates and taking it from the ratepayer. You've reduced that now to $620 million, but I think for the last 7 years, your rate increase has been set at CPI or below.
Yep, we did 8 budgets there, and that's what people want, certainty in their hip pocket. And I'm a good-sized ratepayer myself, so there's a bit of incentive to make sure that there's value for money.
Tell me something. When it comes to this, how often have you been opposed over the years?
Oh, no, Gold Coast, we're a very vibrant city, and we've got so many people who got interest. You know, we've got the nude mayor who wanted to run, and we had Elvis impersonator, and this time it's the Melbourne Cup. We've got 8 of us out there espousing our thoughts and virtues, and you know, it's a bit of getting out there and stirring it up.
Which he does. Just come back to this Commonwealth Games, because I think this is amazing. The council bill was $260 million, no borrowings.
No borrowings. What we did was that there was no budget for it, because I rang the state government treasurer at the time and said, Tim, mate, I got no money in the cupboard. He goes, well, good news for you, Tom. We've got no cupboard. I said, well, mate, we're going to have to mop up where were you going to do the rest of the state, because this is going to be a showpiece. And I said, let's get together and get as much money out of the feds as we can. So we did that. We got a few dollars there, and all up, I think, was $2.2 billion. We put in $260, and the infrastructure's there. We deliver a game that's, well, they say it's the best ever. But the main thing is, it's put us on world stage, and on the Gold Coast, once we get on stage, we don't get off it.
No, that's it. No. It's wonderful. Then you've got the light rail. You wanted that to go. This is your idea, the whole foreshore. Got to Pacific Fair. Now you're saying you're going to take it to the airport and right down to Coolangatta, virtually to the border.
Yep. The next stage is going to go to Burleigh Heads, so that's another third, and then from Burleigh Heads, I want to go to the airport and Coolangatta. But people in Palm Beach up here are going, no, we don't want you to come. We don't want the light rail. So I sent out a press release and said, well, I've listened to you, and what we'll do is we'll go from Burleigh and next stop in Chugan straight through Palm Beach, no stop. So I've listened, and we'll do that.
Yeah, the first time I met this bloke, Graham, there was all this debate about a carbon tax. Everyone thought he was mad, because I think he'd just been elected, and you opposed, it was Kevin Rudd and Julia Gillard, he was the Prime Minister, and you opposed the carbon tax, did you not? And this sort of set the debate going, and in the end, of course, the Labor Party lost the election. Tony Abbott became Prime Minister and abolished the carbon tax. It was your first foray, I suppose, into national politics, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit of luck there, though. I mean, without a change of government, I think they would have you know, sue the state government and then come after us. But they did say, we the federal government, you know, under Constitution, we don't recognise local government. So I went, OK, fair enough, then I don't recognise you. So we didn't pay it.
Yes.
It was fortunate there was change of government. I would have had
So what
on as long as I could.
But why haven't you had a go at federal politics?
Oh,
Or why
mate,
haven't you taken on Palaszczuk and gone state?
You know, if you know what I'm like, I love walking down, have a pub with a few people. And mate, I'm a pretend politician. I tell you, I'm a bit of a fake. So I don't think I'd fit in at the state or federal level. And you know, on local, every night I get home to Ruth.
Good on you.
Happy ass.
Yeah, you're not a flash punter, I got to tell you.
We did all right.
We did all right. I said to him, come and have a drink. He said, no, I'll have a few drinks. We had a few bets. Listen, good luck. We need more of you. You're just not risk averse. Get out and have a go, and the public love it. You're on again in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure the public will endorse what you've done, Tom. So thanks for talking to us. It's refreshing and encouraging.
Thanks, Alan and Richard, for having me on.
There he is. Good fella.
He'd be at Ajax odds, except he'd win.